Yo, what's poppin', guys? Today we got some of that Zefra Metalfoes gameplay. This is from that one festival, so we're gonna be playing against Chimera here. Actually pretty interesting, since they do have quite a bit of layered disruption. I don't think this deck is like actually terrible, but I also don't think it can contend with like the top meta decks. Again, this is just an event. Everybody's just trying things out, playing some pet decks. Very fun. Same thing here. I'm not all too knowledgeable on the Metalfoes line since I was not playing Yu-Gi-Oh during the time that Pendulum came out. So I'm just trying to make do here. And I'll go through the disruption first. So as you saw during the end phase, we lose one of our cards from our hands. It's a random discard. All right, semi-phase, here we go. So for turn, we draw the Astrograph, which is pretty huge. Their disruption is they have the Mirror Sword Knight in the graveyard. If he controls a Chimera, the flying mythical beast, and I activate a monster effect, it has to be a monster I control, so it needs to be on the field, like hand effects, grave effects, those all don't matter. You can't interact with those. This has to be a monster that's just in the monster zone, right? Then you just banish it, negate the effect. Doesn't destroy, just negates the effect. And this thing, same conditions, but if I activate a card or effect that targets one of his cards on the field, then he can banish this one to negate the effect, and this one also destroys. Then the set card here is Chimera Fusion, which lets them go into Guardian Chimera. So that's just going to be pop 2, draw 1, or pop 1, draw 2. And this thing, if it's in the graveyard, it can banish itself to bring back one of the other banished guys. You banish one of the dudes with this or something. I know this one brings back one of the graveyard, some shenanigans. Basically, they just get a floodgate. I'm pretty sure Dark Barrier statue was banned, so they're playing End of Anubis. What this does is, while it's faced on the field, all cards and effects that target a card in the graveyard or that activate in the graveyard are negated. So knowing all of this, we're going to have to try to play around this. Astrograph is great because it plays very well against their Chimera play here. So obviously, we just lead with the Servant Kepler. This gives us a ton of advantage. We get a bunch of spell counters. We get to threaten going into Electromite here already. So this is where they are going to be summoning out their Guardian Chimera. Gonna be using these 3 dudes here to then pop 2 cards. Gonna get rid of my Griffin and my Scale. And they're gonna use all these graveyard shenanigans. Up, all stuff gets popped. Now Astrograph comes out to bring out the Endymion. Now we go into Electromite here. Now they don't actually control the what's it supposed to be? Chimera, the flying mythical beast. This guy renames itself, and the other fusion does as well, but neither of these guys do. So they don't have their disruptions live right now. So they're going to banish this to bring back their Chimera here, and they're going to banish this to bring back the guy that banished himself for it. That's basically how this interaction works. And now they do have the name live, and now they have the floodgate as well. And now we just get to activate our second servant, start getting some spell counters on it, popping the worthless spell to set the Metalfoes fusion. And here, this doesn't really work because this stops anything that activates in the graveyard. So that's yeah, it kind of screwed up here. Very convenient for us, right? But it shouldn't really be happening. And now this gives us access to our Endymion. We draw into a Zefra, which doesn't really matter as much. Kind of unfortunate, actually. But it is a Pendulum monster that we can use to fusion summon with. Now, we get Ashed here, which is huge. I think I was trying to bait the Ash. I think maybe I read it. I don't remember. But we definitely want the Servant to resolve here. And we're going to go ahead and make a Selene here. This gives me a ton of spell counters, which I need for the Endymion here. So now I get to use its effect, remove all the spell counters off of the Selene. And now since we have 3 cards on the field we can play spell counters on, so we get to pop 3 cards here. So we're just going to blow all of these guys up. Blink these off. We're just going to go for Griffin because that's what I had in my extra deck at the time. And now we get to use the pair Metalfoes fusion, fusing off the Zefra that we drew for the Mithrilium. And they're about to surrender here, so I'll just pause it right here. We basically get to shuffle back this guy into back to the hand. Yeah, we get to spin it back to the hand, and now we're at 7,900, but we have 3 counters on Servant, and they just scoop on activation here since it's lethal. All right, thanks for watching.